Woohoo! And welcome to Hey, I Got Something to Say with movement, words, and laughter. I am so excited that Julie is my first guest ever for the release of Hey, I Got Something to Say with movement, words, and laughter. So, Julie has agreed that we are going to do a celebration dance together. I'm going to lead it at the beginning and she's going to follow because I truly believe in just a few seconds, energy can shift. You ready, Julie? This is
I'm
my
ready.
celebration dance for today. Here we go, baby. Roll it, roll it, roll it, roll it. Power up, power up, power up, power up. Dream big, dream big. Just for you, Julie. Oh my God. It does make you feel different, doesn't it? It's the cutest
Yeah.
thing ever. Thank you for playing along. Now,
Thank you.
I get so excited about the amazing humans that I bring on the show. And every single person I pick, I believe, are making a positive, powerful difference in the world. Whether you know about them or not, whether you see their names in lights, they truly are. But before I give you a proper introduction, the one thing I want to know is, what do you do every day to get into a positive, powerful mindset? Feel joy, Julie. What's one thing?
Every morning before I get out of bed, as I'm, kind of waking up and thinking about my day, I think about my big goals and I think about what small thing I'm going to do that day to move them forward. And that makes me feel excited and ready to leap out and kind of tackle the world.
That leads me to so many other questions. I'm going to wait for that
Okay.
because I wasn't ready. I mean, I've had a lot of morning routines, but that's a little different. So we really
Mhm.
need to dive into it because I feel like you're going to give us tips that my listeners and people that watch us around the world will be able to apply immediately to reach those big goals. All right. Let me tell you a little bit about Julie Ellis. By the way, we did meet at Heroic Public Speaking. How would you describe Heroic Public Speaking? Because for me, it really helped me take my keynotes up to a whole new level.
Yeah, I think it is about like being a student of excellence going there and really learning how to cultivate your message so that it really lands with your audience in an important way.
And you meet the most incredible humans, that's for sure.
Amazing people. Yeah.
You stay friends with forever. All right.
Yes.
One of them is Julie. And here's
Here we
Julie.
are.
Julie helps high achieving women. Do we know any of them? Break out of small thinking and step into their boldest, most gorgeous goals. As a co-founder of Mabel's Labels, and I could hear that story over and over again, she grew a business from a basement startup into an eight-figure, that's right, peeps, eight-figure success story that caught the attention of a global brand. She now coaches women entrepreneurs to do the same, turn ambition into action, scale sustainable. I mean, seriously, like turn sustainably and lead with clarity and courage. Who doesn't want this? I
I
mean,
think
who?
everybody wants it.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Every one of my listeners and viewers want it for sure. Uh, Unbelievable. And something that even the most focused, purpose-driven peeps that I know, we all need freaking reminders to dream big. We
Yes.
all do.
It's amazing how something that sounds so simple is not.
Dream big and you'll get there.
Yeah,
Okay. But life can bang you around. It
it
really can.
can.
All right. So
It
let's
can. And that's where I think you're like finding joy and living in joy. It goes with like the dance of growth and we go forward and you step back a little bit and you go forward again and we can look at that as like it's two steps forward and one step back, or we can look at it like let's dance. Put your hand in mine and we're going to go forward and back and forward and back, and we're going to get farther and farther every time. And so I feel like it's a framing of a different way of looking at things that helps
want to say to women around the world and men that support us,
Mhm.
chasing our big, gorgeous goals allows us to step into our magnificence.
Yeah.
I love everything about it. And so here's the deal. And I want to start this off right away because I get asked this all the time. I have always had a gift to see what's right in front of me. I
Mm.
got this, but not get stuck in it and then look where I wanted to go. And for me, it was using movement, words, and loud. Something simple every day, but to get me in that powerful mindset. I'm laughing because I know they meant it in the nicest way, but
Mm.
the other day, one of my friends in business said to me, a woman said, she said, Sandy, you've accomplished a lot in your life.
Mhm.
And yet you're not even close to a perfectionist. And I get what she was meaning. I go, yes, I think that's a good thing. And I told her I was going to ask you because you were coming on the show. And she's like, but you have a podcast and you fumble words a lot. Like your head gets jumbled and you still keep going. Doesn't that bother you? And I thought, and doesn't that make you go, oh, do I really belong on those big stages? Do I
Right.
really see myself up with the other people?
Yeah.
And I was like, huh, I never thought about that. I always thought,
Well, yeah, I think it's super interesting though, because I think if you thought about it, you could trip yourself up on perfectionism that
yeah,
would keep you from moving forward.
I wouldn't be here right now because
Mm.
I'm one that I mess up words or now and then my head gets jumbled and I still keep moving forward. And I thought, well, maybe I'm not saying it is, but maybe that was one of my secrets to success because I didn't let my improv.
Very human and relatable.
Let's go with that one. Oh my God.
It's true though. I mean, I think that's one of the things people think a lot of the time when you arrive on stage as a speaker and people are like, oh, here we go, like perfect story, all the things, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah. And, it's not about that actually. It's about being real and we all struggle with different things. And I don't think there's anything wrong with people seeing that.
Well, that's good. I don't know any other way. All right, that makes me feel better. So, because I didn't know how to answer that question, I'm like, I'm just me.
Mhm.
I don't know what to tell you. And I think also, as far as decide your goal, we all have places we feel at home, right? More comfortable. I happen to feel at home on camera or on stage
Yeah.
more so than other places. I really do. I'm like, okay, I'm here. I'm good. So we need to now talk about you and your journey
Yeah.
because this is a big story and let's just assume they don't know anything about Julie growing up. Were
Yeah.
you that girl that was like, I'm gonna be here and this is where I want to go? And did your parents support that? Take us back
Mhm.
a little bit.
Um, I think I had a lot of support in my life, but I was not surrounded by entrepreneurs by any stretch of the imagination. And Yet I think, I felt a lot of expectation of myself. I put a lot of, things I wanted to do. And so after I graduated university, I ended up working at a bank as a financial planner. I got into like a management training program after I got my degree, and I was kind of, doing the corporate side thing. And started having kids and I wasn't feeling it. Let's put it that way with the career. Yet I knew I wanted something that I would progress in, but I didn't really see myself doing it there. And so I had three friends who were in similar positions, and we started having a conversation about, we were sending our kids to daycare and to activities. And what would inevitably happen is two things. One, you're talking to other moms with kids of a similar age, sharing tips, tricks, products, all of those kinds of things. And two, you send them out into the world, and all of the organizations they went to said, please label everything. And we said, well, how? And the answer was, well, masking tape and a Sharpie. And we thought, yeah, right. I mean, sure, but that's not very pretty. It's not pretty, and it doesn't actually last. The permanent marker comes off in like 3 dishwasher cycles, and then you're back to relabeling. And so we were kind of ripe for this idea we would start a business. And I mean, in 2003 we started. It took us about a year to figure out how we wanted to do it, how, what equipment, all of the things, get ourselves set. And we started. And I mean, starting a direct to consumer business in 2003 was a really different endeavor than it is today. Different problems. But, there was no social media. There was no, maybe there's some MySpace, some early stuff, but no Facebook, no Instagram, no Shopify. So you were building, e-commerce websites on your own, right?
Right.
And so it was just really a different set of problems. But what we learned as social media began and those kinds of things, that those conversations we had with other moms on the playground, at the daycare, at the gymnastics club, at the soccer field, outside of the school, those we could take all those conversations online. And so really quickly, we built a really big following. And, then we had this idea that we would get moms who would, message us and say, but my kid's going to camp tomorrow. I need my labels today. And, we were doing custom manufacturing. There was no way we could get them their labels today. We were sending them by mail. And so we had the idea of, wouldn't it be great if they could go, down the street to their local store and pick up the labels and have a way of personalizing them? They would still be super sticky and durable. They'd go through the dishwasher and the microwave and all the things that our personal ones did.
Yeah.
So we had a dream. We made a new product and sold it in Target and in Walmart and all over the place. And then we attracted attention because, we built a brand, and we really did that not by selling you something. We had a 100% money back guarantee. If your labels didn't work, you didn't like them, we didn't, we might ask you why, because we wanted to better ourselves, but we didn't ask you why because we weren't giving you your money back. And, all of those things that we did to advance the brand and the sentiment of the people around us really helped us, and it enabled us to sell the business. We got a call, and by an industry giant who had been watching us and was interested in acquiring us. And so that started a whole other part of the journey that really brought me to big, gorgeous goals.
Yeah. Okay. So, like you said at the beginning, something so simple can be
Right?
complicated. And I was
Yeah.
reading your points and I thought, oh my God, they're so simple. But sometimes
Yeah.
we think they're so easy, they don't work.
Yes. Yes. And I feel like different people will trip up on different parts, right?
Mhm.
So, do you want me to run through them and give you what my thoughts are about it?
I, I want to let you know what I first want to let's break it down. The first
That's,
one, because I got
yeah,
so many questions about the
of
first one.
course.
Uh, I don't want to tell you that. So, I send out who's coming on, and it was last minute late, and I'm getting stuff at midnight, you know what I mean? Because
Yep.
just out. And they're like, okay, okay, Weston, decide on your goal.
Yep.
So for you, I get it. There was a need. You're like, oh
Yep.
my God, we need this. And you hear that all the
Yes.
time and all the
Yes.
shows. And I saw a need
Yep.
for diapers, and I saw the need for a new bag,
Hmm.
all these things. And you had two, peeps
Hmm.
in your corner.
Yep.
And I love the way the three work together. That's really exciting.
Yes.
I'm all about teamwork, dream work.
Yeah.
But
And we did, though. We wrote a letter to all our friends when we started Mabel's Labels. And as we folded them and licked the envelopes and put a stamp on them, telling people about our business and that we were actually open for orders, we somebody had a cheap bottle of champagne in their fridge. We opened it up and we clinked our glasses to the IPO one day. And the IPO is where your business goes onto the stock market.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we had a big dream. Like that was our big goal. It wasn't just to like start a business and help out a few moms. It was to help out so many moms that we could take our company public.
Okay, time out, time out. So now that's the big thing.
Mm-hmm.
How to decide on your goal? Because maybe is this just for people that already go, I know what I need to do in the world. I have this purpose. I have this mission. Do you have to have that? Because if you don't, how can you decide on a goal?
Yeah. I think it's a process of see, I think we're really trained to set these goals that are very checklist oriented, or like us even a smart goal. You talk about different methodologies for goal setting, and so many of them want you to have a nice tidy box with your goal in it, and you check 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 check, oh, I have finished that one. And I really think big gorgeous goals are really different than that, because they are more centered around your purpose or the things that you really, really deeply want in this life. And you might then create checklists and smaller steps to get towards the big goal. But we're talking
Mm,
about like a big overarching thing that you're going to spend many months or even years of your life
I
trying
got
to
it now.
achieve.
I got it
Yeah.
now. It was just like I was listening to, I don't know who. I listened to so many podcasts, and they were talking about being productive and focused
Mm,
production and having purpose. And that when you are fired up and excited about something, to put down and schedule it. I don't know. That was one of my next questions. When you're
yeah.
deciding on your goal and working on the goal, they want to know if you had, wait, I got to get it right. Do you time block it?
Mm.
And I was reminding of the focus production. Like, do you put, okay, I'm doing from 12 to 3, I'm working on getting closer to achieving my goal.
I'm a big fan of trying to create some amount of time blocking, because when you set a big goal like this, it can be, I think the next normal thing is that you feel very afraid of what you want, because typically you don't know how you're going to get there. You don't have the money, you don't have the time, you don't have the network, you don't have like, there's big pieces that are missing. And
Yes,
that fear can stall us out from ever getting started on the big goals. And so I think doing some amount of time blocking can help you. I think it depends on the person you are. Some people say, I need to do these three things first, and they can go and do them. Other
yeah,
people are like, wow, 2 whole weeks passed and I was so busy. I was in meetings all the time. My team needed this, or I was on vacation or traveling, or, whatever the different reasons are. But you can let a lot of time slide by you without actually making any movements forward.
I agree. You have to know yourself.
Yeah.
So I was looking at these things, and
Yeah.
you're right. Some of them I do put in action, and some are a little sticky for me. Your
Yep.
first one is say no to a few things to allow time to work on it. And you
Yes.
know what? I started that this summer. I was like, this, I'm doing what I want to do this summer. I'm enjoying what I want to do this summer. And then I'm putting aside and I'm going to say no to certain things.
Hmm.
So I feel really good about what I'm doing and what I'm working on, because I
Hmm.
do have big dreams. It wasn't that easy.
No.
I
Oh,
ruffled
no.
feathers, Julie. There are people are
Oh,
like,
yes. I'm not
I swear to, because
surprised.
I'm that person that goes, yeah. I'll go to
Me
4 things.
too.
Yeah. And you know
Yeah.
what? I think I'm okay now. I don't know. I probably could use a lot of therapy and coaching and counseling, but there are people, even when I explained what I was doing,
Mm,
they weren't pleased, because
right.
all they knew, I wasn't there and I wasn't going there.
Hmm.
And I'm like, listen, I have to prioritize first. my family, how much time I'm spending with them, my
Yep,
children, because still lots of kids here.
absolutely.
And then this is because if I want to get there, I know how much time it takes. And I'm actually
Yeah,
getting choked up right now because I didn't realize they wouldn't support me. It was really hard
right.
for me.
Yes.
I don't know
And
why.
I
I'm getting
think
so
it's
upset.
why, but I
Yeah.
think it's what turns us into yes women is the like we don't want to upset people.
Oh,
And we wear, I think we're accustomed to wearing a lot of hats in our lives, whether we're looking after children or parents or businesses or have full-time jobs or, doing volunteer work, whatever all those hats are, we have a lot of them. And we're used to that sort of feeling of, doing the juggle. And the problem with that is that your goal starts to fall in underneath the things you've already said yes to in terms of your priority and your ability to give it any time. And so you do need to start saying no to things, and you need to, and it's not like you're saying no to your kids, but maybe you can get your kids into a carpool instead of being the one to drive them. Maybe you could watch one less TV show in the evening. Maybe there's some easy win no's that you can start with
mhm.
to help you like eke out that little bit of time. Because if you can't eke out the time, what will happen is, 3 months will go by and you will realize you have not made any progress. And you
I,
owe it to yourself. We owe
yeah.
it to ourselves to say no to things.
I had to put, I took them down because I had to create that habit and get
Yes.
over, even if they were mad, like, they're like, okay, because they're used to that, and I've trained them to be used to me doing everything for the family.
Hmm. Hmm.
I had stickums all over. You're allowed to say no. You're still a good person if you say no. I swear to you. And then I pull that stickum off and go, okay, I'm good with that. All right, next
Hmm.
one. And so many people relate to that.
Yeah.
Tell a friend, colleague, mentor, or coach to make sure you stay on track. All right,
Yeah.
so this is a sticky wicket. And I'll call her Sally Bell. We're going to go with Sally Bell's question. Dear Julie, so I did that. But I think I picked the wrong people because all they
Mm.
kept doing is telling me, well, why do you reach so big all the time? One friend even said, okay, it was my husband.
Yes.
Why can't you go for lower hanging fruit? You could just get a job at a Trader Joe's. Oh
Oh,
my
yes.
God,
I
Mom.
Finding the right people to speak your goal to is part of the process, 100%.
Yeah.
Because you need to find the people who are like, I love that. And now guess what I'm working on? Because I'm working on something big too. Right? You want to find the people that are also reaching into the unknown for big goals and want that support. And so you have to pick your people.
Is it possible, even though you love your spouse, by the way, I don't want to tell you how many people came in with questions about this one.
Yes, it's
Is it
possible.
possible to love your spouse? We'll call her Betty Boop, but she represents a lot of women around the world.
Yeah.
And they're not the right person to tell
Yeah.
about your big goal.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember in the early days at Mabel's Labels making business decisions, my husband being like, "Oh, that's a bad idea." And I was like, listen. But it did sort of turn into, we used to laugh because, fast forward 5 or 7 years later, and, he probably got very little information. So there was a side effect of his being so negative. And, then we'd have like, there'd be a party and the husbands would all be there and they'd be like, what's going on? What do you know? Tell me the secrets. I need to know. And because also because we felt like there was four founders and that was already a lot of voices at the table. So, I mean, this is the piece of, and he wasn't completely shut out. He did know some things, but but we also didn't need them at the boardroom table when it came to making business decisions. So there is a fine line. And it could be the kind of thing where you're like, I need to figure out what this goal really is and get it a little, start to make it possible in my own mind before I can let people in who might not be as excited about it as I am.
I think I found out the hard way because some things, I would get made fun of, like, because I wanted to open a
Yeah.
health company. And it took me actually 3 years to finally get there.
Yeah.
And some was just fun banter. But I didn't realize that, and I was young, that not everyone was excited for you. And
Yeah.
that's because and not only even the well-meaning ones, but that's because that's not where they were. And
Yeah.
it's not their experience and it wasn't their journey.
Yeah.
So what
Yeah.
really key here, I love the way you said, it doesn't even have to be that you're working on the same goal together, but other people that have big goals will get you and support you.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I'm not suggesting that we all go out and keep big giant secrets from our spouses. But at the
I
same
got it.
time, like there's a fine line of making sure that, because sometimes the earliest critics are the ones that kill things in, you speak out the big goal, you're already afraid, you tell the wrong person, and it's just like, the bug under someone's shoe, right? You're just squashed. And so you've got to find kind of a happy medium of giving it a little air and a little breathing room with people who are going to really cheer you on in that very early stage.
Hmm. Do you think that I heard this the other day that some people just are big dreamers and others aren't, or can it be cultivated?
I think it can be cultivated, in the sense of I think big goal setting is a bit of a practice. So if you haven't set really big, everybody's interpretation of really big goals is different, right? And it's based on what your own experience is. So you could get the really big goal setter who's just been really good at it all their life, and their goal versus someone who's never done it, there's going to be a scope difference. That's, just the way it is. But it's about, stepping out of your comfort zone, doing something you didn't think was possible, and casting the next goal as even bigger.
I like that. The way you break it down, it just seems so doable, really
That's
doable.
the that's the that's the goal. But it is, right? Like it's the how do we all get on this and start to be able to do the things. We all have things we've, left back there at the side of the road that we wanted to do for ourselves in our lives.
Yeah.
And so it's like, well, whether you're going to pick up one of those or craft something entirely new, I think we owe it to ourselves to see what we can achieve in this life.
I remember even when told a few peeps that I was going to heroic public speaking to up my speaker game. And it was right after COVID. It was a perfect time because there
Yep.
weren't many people booking anything.
Yep.
And even though they knew I had owned and operated business, Julie, even though they knew I'd spoken around the world before,
Yep.
even with that, so many people told me all the reasons I was going to waste my money
Right.
because there were more speakers and the numbers had doubled and this and that. And like so many well meaning people that were trying
Mhm.
to advise me. And I thought, do you know how many times I heard that? I would still be back in the if I listened to that. So many
Right?
people saying, do you know how many
Yep.
people? So let's address that because I got a lot of questions about that too. The naysayers, all those people
Mhm.
saying, oh, you want to do that? Well, that's one
Mhm.
in a million. That's pie in the sky. Oh, yeah, you're going to be the lucky one. How do you deal with that?
Well, I mean, to some degree, you have to think about whose criticism you're going to listen to and value. Because I think, the more people that you open it up to, the more criticism you potentially are going to hear. And then you need to think about, like, what were the reasons that you went ahead and did it anyway? I mean, the counter
Mm.
argument, I think, to the criticism you were getting is, wow, yeah, if it's going to get that crowded, I better go and do something that makes me stand out. Right? I mean,
That's
you know,
good. Wait, where were you? I got to write that line.
and so what are those counter arguments? And
Ooh, I
and
love
it look what happened. That's exactly what happened for you.
Yeah,
You improved your talk. You learned how to story tell better. You worked on the craft of keynote speaking that is getting you everything you wanted.
I love that answer. Where were you before?
Yeah.
Beautiful. All right. I knew we were going to run out of time. So break your goal down into the first few steps
Yeah.
forward.
You
And
can't always look at the top of the mountain. You got to look down and start walking, right? If you're climbing a mountain, you got to start taking steps. And so that's where, 90 days by 90 days, what are each few steps that you're going to do? And then how are you going to look back up and say, okay, do I know more about the goal? Is it coming clearer into focus? Am I over here somewhere and I've got to bring myself back onto the path? Does the goal need you have to have a calibration process.
how do you keep you I hear people, there's all different methods, like, three
Yeah.
things to keep the needle moving forward. How do you keep yourself motivated even when you don't see traction? Because I think that's what the biggest
Yeah,
thing. We all want instant rewards.
we
That
do.
and I see your dog and I'm in love.
My trusty assistant.
I was like, wait a minute, there's a furry back there. My dog would be barking like crazy. Anyhow, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think it is about like the first few steps never feel like progress, but once you've taken, 100 steps, you can start to be like, oh, you need to look forward to where you're going, but you also need oh, look what I've actually been able to do. And so that's part of the dance we talked about at the beginning, right? It's we go forward and then we look back and then we go forward again. And so that's where it is like you've got to recognize what you've been able to do, look back to the goal, make sure it's still the right place for you to be heading, and figure out what the next few steps are. It's a really important part.
And you mentioned, check in quarterly in your
Yeah.
progress, not
Yeah.
daily, not weekly, not nightly.
Um, so this is the thing about like, are you looking up at the big end point or are you looking down at the things you need to do first? And you've got to have some amount of a break from looking at the big end point because it feels overwhelming or it feels like you're not exactly sure that it's exactly what it should be, or those pieces, and you get caught up in trying to define that and you stop working on it. Right? You're working on the big, big, big thing, but not on the practical steps that you need to take to actually start going towards it. So going towards it's really important.
Julie, I'm so happy that my person had to reschedule because
I'm
no, I'm
so glad
serious,
to be here with you.
because it's perfect
Ah,
timing, especially
mhm.
like I said, with the new format, with the new show, but also the new season.
Yeah,
Like coming off
I'm so
summer.
glad to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really.
I just had a little epiphany. You were talking about what one of your really big skills is. I think one of my really big skills in this world is taking something big and bringing it down into like a manageable framework. And so that's kind of what I think I've done with, when I wrote the book, and then now I've got a workbook that came out to go with it. And it's really about taking something big and just bringing it down into something that feels doable.
Oh, it's definitely your gift. It's definitely your gift. So, I mean, I think I'm pretty motivated, but now I think I have to go run a few laps because I'm so excited. All right.
There you go.
Before we go, though, a couple things.
Yes.
Number one, is there anything we didn't get in that you want to tell the peeps around the world?
No, don't wait. Just don't wait. Go and think about what are the big things you want to achieve and figure out setting a goal and get started. Get started and find the people who are on your side, believe in you, and want this for you.
I love it. And now, because they're all going to want to work with you, where can they find you? Where can they get your book? Can
Yep.
they come to your house, have tea or wine? Tell us the deal.
Always tier wine. Depends if it's after 5 or before. Uh,
I love
and
Toronto.
yeah, you can find me on my website at julieellis.ca. You can find both my book, which is behind me, and also the official workbook on Amazon.
Ooh.
And
Wait, I love the way you have stickums in them. Hold
oh
that up.
yeah, all of my notes for but this is a super practical iteration of the book where it has space for writing and if you're a person who likes a good journal, which I am, the
I
workbook will
am.
help. And it's really the how-to for how I think people can go and just chase the biggest things that they want. And find me on LinkedIn also. I would love to continue the conversation because I think, the more people we have out there chasing their big goals, the more we will see us all win.
100%. You got to have that abundant mindset, Julie. I'm all about it. That's my word for the year. Abundance.
Yes.
An and. You, and you. All right. Hey, I got something to say. Thank you so much for spreading the word. Julie and I would really appreciate you sharing, liking, and rating it and subscribing it. But before we go, I normally say toodles, but I'm not doing that yet because Julie is going to lead us in the celebration dance out and I am going to follow. You ready, Julie?
I'm ready. Woo! And 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 5, 6, 7, 8. And 2, and 3, and 4. Reaching for those goals. Woohoo!
Oh my God, thank you for playing. I love you guys. Go out and do what Julie said. Just get started. Don't wait for it to be perfect. Big, gorgeous goals. I love you. I love what you're doing in the world. You are an amazing human. And on that note, I will now say toodles.